I stole my baby from my past self with the help of the same baby who is actually an adult from the future to where I'm taking this baby now. With my child who is the same baby, but from the future. Yeah, sounds about right. Well, well, well. We are back with some more Dark. Episode 7 of Season 3. The second to last episode. We are very, very close to the end. Now, previously on Dark, Adam supposedly completed his goal, or from what we know, he wanted to use the energies of both the apocalypses from both worlds to destroy existence or something. I'm not even sure at this point. I guess we'll see what happened. I legitimately have no idea what to expect. Episode 7 of Season 3.
Gibt es davon nur eine einzige? Oder existieren mehrere Realitäten nebeneinander? Erwin Schrödinger hat für diese Frage ein überaus interessantes Gedankenexperiment konstruiert. Schrödingers Katze.
I can't believe they're literally explaining the Schrödinger's cat experiment.
Aber aufgrund des Wellencharakters in der Quantenwelt ist das Atom gleichzeitig zerfallen und nicht zerfallen. Bis wir es durch unsere Betrachtung in einen definitiven Zustand zwingen. Bis zu dem Moment, wo wir nachschauen, wissen wir nicht, ob die Katze tot oder lebendig ist. Sie befindet sich in zwei sich überlagernden Zuständen.
This is kind of what I was talking about last episode. When I mentioned quantum superposition, I didn't actually I wasn't talking about the actual superposition thing, but more like a general idea that if the world and time itself collapses or something, that we start observing a second version or just comes into existence. Or perhaps it was already there, we just didn't know it. Like if you think about time as in it's like an object mounted into a slot, and that object gets destroyed or removed or disappears, another object just falls into that slot. Essentially just replaces it. I mean, honestly, we have no idea what would happen, so...
Existieren im Mikrokosmos also gleichzeitig. Aber was, wenn das gleichzeitige Vorhandensein von Leben und Tod auch für die Welt des Makrokosmos gelten würde? Ich mach das nicht gut. Wäre die Existenz mehrerer Realitäten nebeneinander möglich? Könnte es uns gelingen, die Zeit zu spalten und sie in zwei unterschiedliche, gegensätzliche Richtungen laufen zu lassen? Und damit die Katze in einen gleichzeitigen Zustand von tot und lebendig zu bringen? Einander möglich.
Martha! Warte! Du darfst da nicht rein! Bartosz?
Ooh, that's very interesting.
Was machst du hier?
Adam und die anderen, sie haben dich belogen. Er will dir nicht helfen. Er wird dich töten. In der Zukunft. Er will die Apokalypse nicht verhindern. Alle werden sterben. Aber nicht wegen dir, sondern wegen ihm. Ich weiß, was der Ursprung wirklich ist. Und wie alles zusammenhängt. Bitte. Ich kann es dir zeigen. Du musst mir vertrauen.
The problem here is there's so many possibilities right now, because this could be a third version. It could be that there was the initial version where, there just wasn't the Martha going back to get him, and then, he survives, creates the version of Martha that goes to get him, then that one gets him to the other world, and then that will lead into a Martha that is told to come get him and is about to come get him, and then Bartosz stops her. Or this could be the initial version, the one that didn't show up. We just didn't know what the reality was exactly. There's oh God, we're 2 minutes in. Confusion.
Dem Menschen fällt es schwer, den Tod zu akzeptieren. Er hält fest an Dingen, die längst vergangen sind. Den Tod ins Gegenteil zu verkehren. Aber wenn Zeit relativ ist und nichts wirklich jemals vergangen und gleichzeitig die Überlagerung von verschiedenen Realitäten möglich ist, sollte es dann nicht auch möglich sein, etwas zurückzuholen, was längst tot geglaubt ist, und eine neue Realität zu erschaffen, in der Totes wieder lebt?
And then there's these two. I'm not gonna lie, like they say, oh, 2021. I'm like, yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember what happened in 2021. Is this important?
Das Paradies ist frei von Schmerz und Leid. Alles, was wir getan haben, ist dort vergessen. Jeder Schmerz, den wir empfunden haben, ausgelöscht.
That's never a good thing.
Leben.
It all-
Sein Versprechen halten.
Everything always comes back to that, right? Everyone who has ever died gets to live again. There is no pain, no suffering, no lies. We've been down that road before. It's not a good thing. Remember that a wise man once said, forcing your good intentions on others is no different from an evil act. No one deserves to suffer, sure. Or, well, maybe some people do, but generally, right? People don't deserve to suffer, sure, but removing all bad things from the world is not exactly the solution. Because if you didn't have any bad things, then you wouldn't be able to compare those things to the good things and actually have good things. I'm not gonna lie, that was kind of dumb. But we do remember that Adam was burned pretty heavily, right? So, I mean, it's gotta happen at some point.
Ich habe gesehen, dass es funktioniert. In der Zukunft.
Und dann? Wann erzählst du uns endlich die Wahrheit? Du willst doch gar nicht mehr zurück. Du willst die Apokalypse überhaupt nicht verhindern.
Das hier ist größer als wir. Größer als die Apokalypse. Wenn das Portal funktioniert, dann können wir es benutzen, um den Ursprung zu finden. Den einen Moment, der das hier alles ausgelöst hat. Und wenn wir ihn gefunden haben, dann werden wir ihn vernichten. Und alles, was daraus entsteht, das ist das Paradies.
Das Paradies? Wir stecken hier seit 2 Jahren fest. 2 verschissene Jahre. Ich will dein verficktes Paradies nicht. Ich will hier einfach nur weg.
You know, I would love to know. I would love to know what they've been doing here. Like, you know, we only see, you know, this older Jonas working on this, you know, prototype of the machine, right? But like, what do they actually do back in those days? Like, you know, what were they actually doing? I assume the guy who's like funding their tan house or whatever, you know, he's funding their lives, but like, I mean, 2 years is a lot of time. We don't really get to see any of it, so I'm like,
Hallo?
how the fuck did she... When did... Oh, Dear Lord, I'm confused.
Ich wollte Sie nicht erschrecken.
I'm not gonna lie.
Glaube ich, es hört hier nie auf zu regnen.
I'm not gonna lie. If I was in his position, or if I was in this position, period, if I had traveled through time, anybody who ever approaches me that isn't already attached to the time period that I'm in, so for instance, if I was in Bartosz' situation and I'm back in the past like 100 years, anyone who approaches me that isn't like a shopkeeper or has already some sort of pre-existing connection to the time period, you know, like a shop that they own, or you know, something that I can be like, okay, they're 100% from this timeline. If someone approaches me in the forest like this, I would not trust them. If I traveled through time, other people can as well. He has traveled through time himself. He has seen other people traveling through time. I would never trust anybody who approaches me like this. Ever. Not even close. Because you have no idea. You have no idea who this might be.
Sehr.
Bartosz.
At the very least, like, I wouldn't make my distrust obvious, but at the very least, I would try to test them. Like secretly, like give them, like, say certain things to see if they respond, you know, with future knowledge, etc. You know, I would try to put them on the spot. But, yeah, I mean...
Ich weiß, wir versuchen es schon lange. Aber es wird gelingen.
Jonas,
Du darfst die Hoffnung nicht verlieren.
Ich kann das nicht mehr.
I mean, that's kind of the thing, right? It's like the apocalypse happened, right? But like, there's still survivors. People are still surviving. It's not like, you know, this apocalypse basically like killed everybody and human civilization and humanity is wiped out or anything. So it's like, I mean, at the very least, you could just continue your life. Of course, you want to save people, but, you know. Well, this is nostalgic. We haven't been here in a while. Okay. That's a thing. I guess we're here. You know, this is very serious and all, but like, I've always wondered, does this actually work? Like, legitimately. I would assume it works because, you know, history and everything, but when I think to myself, like, if you had this around your neck and then you kind of fell from quite a big distance, you would, you know, you break your neck, right? But like, the hanging from the neck is like, wouldn't, like, I feel like, I mean, the rope would just like, yeah, it would like, you know, scrape or whatever the word is, like scrape your neck, right? But eventually it would, your neck is soft enough to where the rope would go to your, like, your jaw, right? Like your, you know, like push out against your jaw, and then you would be hanging essentially with the rope around kind of your, you know, like underneath your jaw, kind of like that. And then it would be fine. Like, I don't know. I don't know the intricacies of hanging by noose, but I've always felt like, you know, something around the neck, like a rope around the neck, just like, it doesn't really make sense if you just like pull your head back like this, and then the rope would just kind of hold underneath your jaw, you know? Kind of, yeah, I don't know. It like chokes you out, I guess. Prevents the pressure prevents the oxygen from, I guess. Interesting. Which means he looks like he didn't know that was going to happen.
Was willst du hier? Folgst du mir?
Du hast mir was versprochen. Adam hat mir was versprochen. Du hast gesagt, dass die Apokalypse passieren muss. Damit wir gerettet werden. Alle gerettet werden. Du kannst nicht sterben.
Yep, he's not gonna be able to. It's gonna jam. 100%. It's just one of those things, right? You can't die. Because you're not supposed to, because you never did.
Du kannst dir nicht das Leben nehmen. Weil es dein älteres Ich bereits gibt. Die Zeit erlaubt es nicht. Egal, was du versuchst. Etwas oder jemand wird dich immer davon abhalten. Elisabeth und ich, wir haben die Passage gefunden. Du musst dein Versprechen halten.
But it's not working, right?
Sie wird sich wieder öffnen. Und dann wirst du uns. Dann wird Adam uns ins Paradies führen.
So, again, serious moment, but like, did he knew that it was closed, and then he took him there anyway. They climbed through this fucking very dark and narrow cave just so he can show Jonas that it was blocked, instead of just saying it was blocked and, you know, not having to climb through a fucking long hallway, small and cramped cave, you know, like they just kind of went there just so he can be like, haha, look, it's blocked, even though I knew that already, but we came here for no reason. I mean, it was for our benefit, obviously, but, you know, still. Okay, so it's been a while. Okay, that just looks wrong. I'm not gonna lie, that just looks wrong.
Einmal noch.
I get it, you know, it's been probably like 10 years, but like, this just looks wrong. I'm sorry, I can't, bro. Like, yeah, I mean, that just looks wrong. Something about this looks wrong.
Das ist ein Bursch.
Okay. It's a boy? What's every time there's a baby, I'm like, okay, which one of y'all's father is this guy? Which one of y'all's father is this baby?
Hanno.
Wait. Wait, Hanno Tauber is everything's so confusing for me already. Like, all the names all the time. Okay. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Hanno is Noah, right? Like that's his actual name. Am I confusing it? I don't remember. I think it was, but I don't fucking remember. Oh boy, okay. 2040. So it's been 17 years after that. There it is.
Warum glaubst du, funktioniert das immer noch nicht?
Vielleicht will Claudia gar nicht, dass es funktioniert. Warum vertraust du ihr überhaupt?
Warum hast du ihm vertraut? Adam. Er hat dich belogen. Es gibt kein Paradies. Keine andere Welt außer dieser hier. Ich weiß, du denkst, ich werde zu ihm. Aber das werde ich nicht. Das Portal wird funktionieren, ich hab's gesehen. In der Zukunft. Alles wiederholt sich. Aber wenn ich zurückreisen kann, dann kann ich alles verändern. Ein älteres Ich hat es schon mal versucht. Aber dieses Mal ist alles anders. Dieses Mal wird's funktionieren.
Das hat sie dir gesagt. Claudia. Was weißt du wirklich über sie? Woher weiß sie all die Dinge, die sie weiß? Sie hat gesagt, nicht alles, was hier ist, gehört hierhin. Was hat sie damit gemeint? Claudia verheimlicht uns etwas. Wir können ihr nicht trauen.
It's actually uncanny how similar the older versions look to the younger versions. It's like they've done a really good job on that.
Du musst ihn weiter auf seinem Weg geleiten. Die Materie. Sie darf noch nicht funktionieren. Du hältst den Knoten in deiner Welt aufrecht und ich in meiner. Warte. Die ganzen letzten Jahre, die Dinge, die Eva gesagt hat, die ich tun muss. Weiß sie alles, was passiert? Ich habe mich gefragt, hast du sie jemals getroffen? Wen? Mein älteres Ich.
Nein. Ich erinnere mich noch genau, was sie gesagt hat. Wenn alles gelingt, dann wird Regina leben. Ich habe darüber all die Jahre nachgedacht. Ich kann einfach nicht glauben, dass sie damit gemeint hat, dass ich ihr Leiden auf immer wiederholen soll. Es muss einen Weg geben, den Knoten zu lösen. Ohne alles Leben darin zu zerstören. Ein Weg, dass Regina lebt.
Wirklich lebt. Ich glaube, weder Eva noch Adam kennen diesen Weg. Aber ich werde ihn finden.
Honestly?
In meiner oder deiner Welt. Nicht.
Honestly? Amazing. Yes. Good. Because I had started to think like both Ava and Adam are kind of like doing their own thing without looking for a third solution. One is trying to destroy everything, the other is trying to keep everything, you know, with the status quo and everything. But it's like, because I thought the younger Jonas was going to be the difference maker, you know, the one who finds the third way. And for a while I had started thinking that, you know, Claudia kind of, you know, just kind of doing other people's bidding now, and it just feels a little weird. But now it's like, of course.
Du hast Claudia nicht mitgebracht.
Noah beobachtet sie. Wir müssen vorsichtig sein.
Interesting. If we assume that that Ava doesn't know, even the older version of Ava doesn't know that this is the other Claudia, that would mean that, yes, Claudia managed to actually hide her identity the whole time, which makes her the third, essentially the third player in the game. But still, time is not forgiving.
Auch für deinen Vater.
In the end, some things still have to go the same way. Who's the other one? Oh, the Right, sister, right, of course, I forgot.
Wir haben alles versucht, Bartosz. Sie wollte, dass sie Agnes heißt.
I mean, it would be freaky. It would definitely be freaky. Wait, do they actually steal the baby? Oh my god, they do. Interesting. Okay, I did not expect this. I did not expect the theft. She probably, when she was younger, you know, had her baby and then it was stolen, not knowing who the fuck or why, right? And then comes to realize, oh, I stole the baby from myself in the future. My future self stole my baby. Jesus. I stole my baby from my past self with the help of the same baby who is actually an adult from the future, to where I'm taking this baby now with my child who is the same baby but from the future. Yeah, sounds about right.
Die Passage wird sich öffnen. Und dann werden wir dort sein. Du, ich und Charlotte. Wo ist sie? Charlotte. Wo ist Charlotte? Ich habe mich all die Jahre gefragt, was er damit gemeint hat. Dass wir Freunde werden, bevor du mich verrätst. Wo ist Claudia? Hat sie Charlotte? Hast du ihr geholfen?
Ich weiß nicht, wovon du sprichst.
Wo ist sie? Wo ist Charlotte?
Ich weiß es nicht.
Ich finde sie. Ich bringe sie zurück.
Considering they know so much about time travel and whatnot, I feel like it wouldn't be a leap to think that maybe someone at some point in time just took her, so...
Der Mensch kann zwar tun, was er will, aber er kann nicht wollen, was er will.
We're just going back and forth here, back and forth. Okay. Ooh, wait, what?
Hannah.
It just... my brain. It just doesn't end. It just doesn't stop with this show. It just doesn't fucking stop. Oh boy. Okay. Was Hannah that far back in time? I don't think so. I mean, she was in the 1950s, right? And this, I assume she gave birth to this girl who is, what was her name, Celia or whatever, that she introduced herself as, at least. And then that Bartosz ended up having children with.
Ich suche Jonas.
How did she even get here?
Jonas? Das ist meine Tochter. Celia. Sie ist deine Schwester.
Wie hast du uns gefunden?
Vor ein paar Tagen. Da war diese alte Frau. Sie stand einfach vor unserer Tür. Eva. Sie hat gesagt, sie weiß, wo du bist. Und dass du mich suchst. Du hast recht. Es ist alles meine Schuld. Ich habe alles kaputt gemacht. Aber jetzt bin ich hier. Ich bin hier, Jonas.
Well, obviously, there's some lie to that, right? Because if I'm not mistaken, Claudia's dad from the other timeline, he was the one who ended up going to Hannah in that timeline, right? Like she was like about to give birth, right? Going into labor, and then he showed up. So that's about what we know about that.
Bartosz, mach ihn die Kammer zurecht.
Was machst du da?
Celia. Sie gehört nicht hierher.
Was soll das heißen?
Alle Spielsteine müssen auf ihre Position. Sie ist hier falsch. Genau wie du.
Interesting. Again, all these suffocation techniques and maneuvers, I've never been, I don't know. I've never, I just don't believe them. Again, same thing with the pillow thing, where, you know, if you try to strangle, you know, not strangle, suffocate someone with a pillow, right? It's like you can breathe through the pillow. Same thing with the hands right there. It's like, I'm pretty sure, especially like if you're trying to like, if you're putting hands over the face, like he was doing, you would still be able to just like, I don't know, like just turn your head slightly, and then just still breathe through it somehow. Or at least I feel like that would be the case. I feel like the only way you wouldn't be able to is if you're pinching the nose closed, and then you have a very large hand and you're completely blocking the mouth. I feel like that's the only way, but it would be kind of difficult.
Du hattest recht. Claudia. Sie hat uns alle belogen. Das Buch. Du hast es bei dir. Die letzten Seiten, sie fehlen. Du musst sie finden. Sie werden dich zu Charlotte führen und endlich auch an dein Ziel. Alles im Leben verläuft in Zyklen. Auf Sonnenuntergang folgt Sonnenaufgang. Wieder und wieder. Aber dieses Mal wird es der letzte Zyklus sein. Bist du bereit, Noah?
Oh my god. I'm not gonna lie, it's getting difficult to follow along. I might even say I'm completely lost at this point.
Du musst die Weichen stellen, egal wie schwer es dir scheint. Aber du wirst endlich alles ändern können.
Schon vor Wochen ist in der Kleinstadt Winden ein 15-jähriger Junge auf mysteriöse Weise verschwunden. Und nun alarmiert ein weiterer Vermisstenfall die Bürger der Stadt. Der 11-jährige Mickey.
Right, everything is going back into position.
Sachdienliche Hinweise nimmt die Windener Polizei entgegen.
Hallo Claudia.
Willst du nicht einsteigen?
Du musst Adam stoppen.
Oh, I didn't even think about that, but oh my god, Bartosz, of course, Hanno's father, right? Oh my god, of course. Oh my god. Dude, I 100% am going to rewatch this show on my own time, a second time. It is going to be so much fun, because if you know, you know, right? Beginning of the last cycle, huh?
Ich hab dich all die Jahre gesucht.
Sie sind nicht mein Vater. Regina? Es tut mir so leid.
Du hast mich benutzt. Es ist kein Mensch schuld. Keiner von ihm hat einen Platz verdient in einem Paradies.
Ja?
Wo ist das?
Okay.
Warum hast du mich hierher gebracht? Sie sind schuld daran, dass das alles überhaupt passiert.
Nein. Sie sind das Licht.
Ist es nicht eigenartig, dass wir die größte Abneigung den Menschen entgegenbringen, die uns am ähnlichsten sind?
Ich bin nicht wie du. Du und ich haben nichts gemeinsam.
Ich war mein Leben lang der Überzeugung, dieser Moment hier könnte sich niemals so wiederholen. Ich könnte nie das tun, was mein älteres Ich getan hat. Weil ich nicht verstehen konnte, wie ich das, was sie wollte, jemals wollen könnte. Jetzt, 66 Jahre später, verstehe ich es. Manchen Schmerz vergisst man nicht. Er zeichnet uns unser Leben lang. Du und ich. Wir teilen diesen Schmerz. Wir tragen die gleichen Narben.
Okay, now that's just completely unnecessary. So the scar on your face is because your older self just pointlessly slashed you, and now you just gonna have to do it because your future self already had it. So technically, I mean, that's just unnecessary, man.
Du verstehst es jetzt vielleicht noch nicht, aber mit uns entscheidest du dich für das Leben. Mit Adam für den Tod.
I'm guessing he was expecting something to happen.
Das kann nicht sein.
Hallo Jonas.
Oh, son of a bitch. Okay. Okay, I'm not gonna talk too long. This episode is incredibly long for some reason. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This episode was going back and forth, back and forth. So many things happened. So many things happened. At this point, I think Claudia is going to become the one that worked behind the scenes against Jonas and Ava. You need that invisible guiding hand to make a difference. I think the only way to deal with the loop is to deceive time. Even in the beginning of this episode, you know, they mentioned the Schrodinger's cat thing, right? As long as you haven't observed something, it can exist. Or it does exist. In other words, what I'm trying to say is that they think that it's kind of like a loop or whatever, but in reality, you could have Claudia making subtle changes, which means that it's not exactly the same loop, because Claudia is going around making changes. They just think everything is the same, but the things that you're not observing are changing. You just don't know it. Regardless, that was episode 7 of season 3. We shall be back next time with the final episode. Until then, ladies and gents, I shall bid you adieu.